In case you didn't know, there is a looming 30% increase in power charges. So that 100 shillings token that you buy and you're given, say, 4 to 5 units, soon you might be getting 1 or 2 units. And as if that is not enough, we had a case recently of 2 students who were killed in a bandit-prone region while in the classroom, shot at point-blank range. Now, we also have the case that we are losing 6,000 babies in hospitals every year. 6,000 babies stolen from the arms of their mothers every year. This is a sad case. Now we have all this rise of custom charges. We also now have a looming 21 or to 30% increase in port charges as well. The hindsight of this is that we have a government that can afford 3 to 4 billion shillings in state house renovations. Is we have a national administration that can spare millions for community mobilization, so that it seems that the government has massive support in certain areas, even if they've lost it in some areas. Which, by the way, is a perception, because politics is a game of perceptions. It doesn't really exist. It's a matter of school of thought. It's a matter of illusions and who has a better story. The hindsight of this is that now we have a government that can afford to spend 180 million shillings on a head of state tour. Now, far be it from me being unfair to the government. When Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta was the CS for Finance, in order to curb wastage, he introduced Passat vehicles for government officials. These vehicles were ordered and paid for by the government of the Republic of Kenya. Their aim was to reduce the expenditure in fuel, was to reduce the expenditure in vehicle repairs for state officers. Now, most of the vehicles were 2.0 or 2.5 liter engines. Compare it with now. The government has completely shifted from the policy of the Mwai Kibaki government then. And this problem, I must admit, has not started now. The same person who was the Minister for Finance then, who passed those drastic changes in order to curb wastage in fuel money and repair monies, became president, and during his administration, they started moving around in high-end cars. Now, it may not have been as worse then, but right now, we have a habit of seeing government officials with new vehicles, especially in National Day celebrations. Is buying a Mercedes-Benz worth 50 million? Is buying a Land Cruiser worth 30 million? Is buying a Land Rover Defender for a governor worth 25 million a priority over what is more important? What is this that is so important that you politicians must travel in absolute luxury instead of putting that money into good use? I mean, is it a priority for a governor to have brand new vehicles when he comes into office, even if the previous governor had vehicles for use in the county? I mean, one of the counties actually spent around 20 million shillings hiring vehicles for VIPs who were visiting the county for either benchmarking or whatever they call it. Yet there was no justification on paper to give to the Auditor General of the government to justify that there were no available VIP county vehicles to do that job instead of wasting 20 million on hiring vehicles. This is a shame. It is an absolute shame. that governors can afford these expensive abroad trips with a whole team of advisors and personal assistants to go to a foreign country and benchmark. I mean, where are the fruits of the benchmarking that these politicians do? While we have looming price changes, while we have looming economic collapse, because honestly, you go on ground, even to you, the person who supplies you goods in the local market, they are telling you the situation is bad. The shopkeeper, where I shop while at home, has been out of stock for some of the items for some time now. And I've noticed it's not just her. There are a few others having the same trend. And I asked her, what is the problem? She tells me there is not enough money circulation for me to keep stocking everything. I have to reduce on the stocking so that I may be able to run the shop effectively with what is very necessary. I walked to her shop and wanted a cold soda. I could not get one. Reason being, she cannot afford to run the fridge that is supposed to make the soda cold for a whole day. Yet this is the one shop in my local area that I always relied on whenever I wanted a cold drink. I could find a cold soda in that shop with a guarantee. Now she tells me she only switches off the fridge for 1 hour in a day because she can no longer afford those bills. They are too exorbitant. But this is the filth that is our Kenyan politics and our Kenyan leadership. This is the filth of how the government of this country and the subsequent county governments are run from administration to administration. And I'll attempt to explain why. It is because we have been recycling the same leaders. The people who are governors today are people who were politicians before. Majority of them, if I must say. The people who are members of parliament, a good number are the same people who have been in the political scene for some time. And when newcomers come into government, it is them who are responsible into initiating them into the bad ways of governing this country in the wrong way. But we do know that is the filth. That is our Kenyan politics. That is my unfiltered insight tonight.